Welcome back to another episode of Uncut and Uncensored with Caroline Stanbury. And today I am joined by the gorgeous Aurora Culpo, who has the Barely Filtered podcast, which I was on. You're a social media influencer. You've done reality TV with your sister. I think everyone will have seen her. She's a mother of two. And you're all about sustainable, eco-friendly tips for parenting. And you juggle it all. Welcome.
Trying. Thank you. Thank you so much for that intro. Yeah. I feel like we have some things in common. Both divorced, restarted our lives, have been on reality TV, and podcasting now.
I mean, well, we have everything in common. And I think, actually, I just had an amazing podcast as well with Jenny Garth. And as she was going through her life, I felt the same. And it's funny today, all of us women are in really the same boat. It's very rare that we end up in the place that we thought we would or how we started. And I want to say, first of all, it's amazing what you've been able to rebuild, but also to teach other women that we don't have to stay where we're not happy.
I know. It's really interesting because I've been posting a little bit more about, like moving on with somebody new now, and sometimes my reels get like they find this very bizarre corner of the internet with I think it finds like redneck America where it's so many men are very disturbed and angry to see a woman moved on with a new man, and it's just kind of odd. Like I don't understand if a marriage isn't working, why do people want us to suffer through? I don't know. To me, it never made sense. Like, I think me and my ex and my children are all better off now that we're in new situations. But there's a lot of people who really think that no matter what, the children are better off if you stay together.
That's absolute bollocks. First
Yeah.
of all, I don't like the word sacrifice. I don't like the word sticking it out. I don't like, that should never come into marriage. And I think what you and I and other people are doing is realizing that if you have a happy marriage, children aren't stupid. They can see those mothers that are like gritting their teeth through it, right? And you know what? Kids are hard. They're really hard work. And if you don't like the partner that you're bringing up those children with, you are left alone. You are, trying to parent a child on its own, which is very hard work. When you are with someone you love, even if it's not the father, you are a tag team. You do this. I need 5 minutes. I'll do this. My Sergio will do all the stuff with them that I don't want to do, and it's wonderful. And then I
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Totally. I'm lucky enough to be in a relationship now with somebody who gets along really well with my kids and with my ex. And they actually went golfing together a couple weeks ago.
I
And
saw something.
yeah, I posted a little bit about it, and like people are angry. They're like, "Oh, I would never like this is beta. This is very beta behavior," or they just think it means that like the man is less of a man if he doesn't
More of
hate
a
him.
man.
It makes literally no sense. I'm not sure where that mentality comes from.
More of a man. And I have to say, I got a little pang of jealousy because I haven't got there yet. Like, as in, like they have dinner together, but we haven't holidayed together. And that's my next step. And I really want to do that. When I saw you lying on that beach, I think they were going into the water together with your
Yeah.
child. And I was like, you've done it. That's why you're getting the hate, because a lot of people can't do it or get it right, and that takes a lot of work. They do not understand how long that has taken to get there, and you should be so proud of yourself, because that
Thank
is
you.
an amazing achievement for anyone.
Yeah.
That's not just a woman going, oh, look at my two sexy men. That is a
Yeah.
woman who has worked bloody hard to make this work.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think it says a lot about my ex and my new partner, but also just like I was looking at I had to restrict the comments because it kind of went viral, and there were hundreds and I think thousands of comments of people, men, being like, I would rather never see my children again than have to spend like a day on the beach with my ex's new partner. And and it's just so interesting because I like look. Of course, you shouldn't like give these people the time of day, but I was really interested in the psychology behind like why would anybody think this is a bad thing? So I looked at the men who are commenting these horrible things, and I did a little deep dive into their Instagrams, and it looked like they were men who had no part in raising their children. Like they had. I saw this one picture of a guy with a bunch of kids, and the caption was like, oh, so glad to see my kids grew up and became good people. I know I didn't have a part in raising them. Like, I think it's men who have been left because women are not putting up with men who are not, it's like women make their own money now. And in the past, I think a lot of women stayed with men because they had to. But now that it's not like a survival thing, I think there's a lot of men who are not stepping up to the plate to be needed in a relationship anymore.
A lot of men have become pussies.
Yeah, exactly. That's a pussy.
Yeah, and I'm sad you turned off your comments because I do feel that it should be discussed and we should actually be left to read them because you've got about 15, 20 podcasts right there to understand all of those things. And I think it's something exactly that. Like, when my ex-husband went through even worse because I left him for someone so much younger, that is like the ultimate betrayal for a woman, right? Not only did I embarrass him in the worst way I left him, but then it was someone who is like 20 years younger that he sees as like a child in his eyes, right? And it's embarrassing for him, but he has enough balls to go, okay, like I have to build a life with my kids, with her, like it or lump it, we're all going to be together. And I said that to him. I said, you can hate me for as long as you like, but we're going to be at birthdays, bar mitzvahs, Christmas together. So let's make this work. And you've done that. And very few women are able to achieve that because it does take a lot of work. It does take a lot of gritting your teeth because those men can, if they're not in relationships, they can still be angry. Maybe there's a little hint of, why you left him is still there, right? So like the control factor or things that they want to do to bring into for you, how you raise your child in front of you or the way he talks to you in front of you can trigger you.
Right.
So you have to really learn to hold yourself.
Right. Yeah. I do think every breakup is so different, and I do think my dynamic maybe made it a bit easier because neither one of us wants to be with each other anymore. I think that's probably really hard when one person is still wanting to be in this marriage and the other person doesn't. Also, like, he was the one not faithful to me, so he really doesn't have any reason to be. Oh, he found plenty of reasons to be mad at me for a while. But at this point, it's like we just want our kids to be happy. And once you see how happy your kids are, that everybody can get along, it's like what's more important than that?
Nothing. So. And I think do you think like maybe your stint, because you have been famous for a while, you've lived a very open life, with your sister and being on a hit reality TV show, do you think that prepared you for like living the rest? Because we don't choose to live that way for the rest of our lives, but ultimately it's what has fed your podcast, brought you to where you are. Even if you want to close that door, now everybody feels that you're still, free, open season on your life.
I know. It's hard because, the reason I shut off those comments is not because I couldn't handle it. My new partner is like a kind of a private person, and, it's thousands of people kind of just like talking shit about him, and first of all, my ex also is 6'5", and my new guy is like 5'9". So there was a lot of comments about like, just short king or just horrible things. Like every person in this photo has been inside her because it's like my kids and these two men. I'm like, they're not wrong.
I have to say, I saw that on TikTok, and then I went to dinner with my ex-husband, my two sons, and and Sergio, and they were all walking behind me going through the restaurant, and I just looked behind, and that saying just hit me, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, at least that one was kind of creative.
Funny.
But
That's funny.
that's something that I guess my point is that like I don't it's not just me that I have to worry about exposing and Zach and my ex Mike, they don't really care to have the internet looking at their life. And Zach was like, that's like going into a bar, a crowded bar, and being like, what does everybody here think about my life choices? It's like, do you want their opinion? But I agree with you. I wanted to leave the comments up because I do think it's something that is a discussion. I think I was just more surprised at how many people agreed with that mentality of like, oh, she's so selfish to have left the relationship. Which I don't know.
Because we are still living in a very backwards way where people still think, as you said, kids are better off if you stick it out. And it's just not true. Nothing is more opposite. It should be grab the oxygen mask first. Happy wife, happy life. It's absolutely true because you get up with a different sense of joy in the morning, and actually they're even better off because they have their father, they have their mother, and they have a bonus dad who loves them.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And they love him. I think your situation might be a little different because my kids are young. My kids are, they just turned 5 and 7. And, I have 5 days in a row where my ex has them. And it's hard for me. Zach, my new partner, is always like, you need to let him have all 5 days in a row and stop I usually will go take them or see them because it's hard for me to not see them for 5 days in a row. So I'm having to balance time with him and time with my kids. And he loves my kids, but he's not trying to see them during the days that we're supposed to have us time. So it is tricky to navigate with younger kids who don't quite understand why are you not with me for 5 days?
Well, let me tell you, that will get easier. It does get easier. I know it sounds harsh now. And actually, the one thing going forward, and I'm at the other end where my kids are about to leave me, I understand that the relationship that I've built with Sergio and the one that you're about to build with your new husband will be, the most important relationship because your children will grow up and they're going to leave you. That is just a fact, which is what we want them to do in the nicest possible way, right? We're growing independent birds and they're going to fly the nest. So you've got to have this amazing relationship with him, which was based on you and him. And that's what I have got my head around because I felt exactly like you. The silence in the morning, is deafening to begin with.
Totally. It is hard. It's hard in the beginning, and I think a lot of women are just terrified of just that. And I think a lot of women would also leave if they weren't, financially dependent on the man that they don't want to be with. It's tricky. So I always kind of, I don't know how you feel about the whole stay-at-home mom culture, and I think a lot of women are realizing
disastrous.
That kind of traps you. You don't have any options.
Disastrous. And actually, this is exactly why I started these women's retreats. And I was talking today to Jenny, exactly the same thing, that women have to have options. So your 5 days may seem frivolous, and it's not just so you can lie around having sex with your new boyfriend, but actually you can focus, right? You can build the relationship with him, but you can also build your career. And it is so important because today we are bombarded with a million things and we don't know that our husbands are going to be there in 25 years. Pray to God they are, but if they're not, we're not going to collapse. And that's a wonderful thing. What you have been able to do, what I'm able to do, is to build a career outside of our children, outside of our husbands. And that is the most fundamental thing. And actually, I don't even know, do you have a daughter?
I have, a son and a daughter.
Yeah, I hope you teach her. It may have been hard right now, but, it's the most important thing. You have to go to work as a woman because if you don't have any choices in life, who are you?
Right. Yeah.
I want you to have the choice to get up and leave whenever you want.
Yeah. It's an interesting mentality because I do feel even, growing up, I'm a millennial. I kind of was told directly or indirectly, you're going to marry somebody rich, don't worry. Like, you're going to be okay. It was kind of like that. It was a lot of women, a lot of my friends, it was like their dad paid their phone bill and then their husband paid their phone bill. And like, they never really had to worry about that the way men do. And it is a trap, but I think it also makes men have to step it up to a certain degree that wasn't always the same. Like now, if women are earning money too, then men also need to take on some of the household,
And they don't want to.
rearing the children and things like that they didn't used to have to do.
But let's put it this way, okay? If we're raising girls just so that the father can pay the bill, then the husband can pay the bill. What kind of life is that? Like, I have girlfriends of mine who live in multi-million-dollar mansions, right? And obviously I get up, if you see my Instagram, I'm working like a dog all day long doing all these different businesses. And there they are getting their nails done, hair done, massages, all of this. But I feel safe. They don't.
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't swap it. It's great. If it's not in my name, that's not my house. I can be
Right.
swapped at any time.
Right. And
How do you
see
relax?
it. Men
You
usually
see it
spend
all the time.
for the younger man, but it's usually the man who ditches the woman for a younger woman.
Yes. And like they've got nothing left and they're looking around and the only thing they've got is like another Hermes bag maybe they can sell or some jewelry they got. But that's it. That's it. That's they have to start again. Which is
Yeah.
even worse because at least I never stopped working. So my crappy little life of the hustle, my hustle's building something. They've got to start from the bottom with
Yeah.
nothing. And that is a very scary place. I'm not scared. If all my
Right.
businesses went tits up tomorrow, I'm the kind of person that will go, okay, I'll start this. Because I'm
Yeah.
not scared. I've done it. You could do that. You've
Yeah.
done it.
Yeah, because you know that you're capable of it. I think a lot of people are more capable than they believe, but it's hard to imagine something that you've never had to do before.
Yeah. I mean, look at the difference between, I guess, you and your sister, right? She looks like to be a little bit more of a pampered pooch in the nicest possible way
Yeah.
than you. And, but she's a worker.
Yeah, she's
But
a
you're-
workaholic. She
Yeah.
actually probably it's interesting. Yeah, our dynamic. I mean, our brand, our dynamic is
Very
just
different.
totally different. Like I never really cared as much about designer things as
Oh.
she has, but she also is the hardest working person I know. I think it's interesting. Like you'll even see people comment this about her because she married somebody who's very wealthy, and people are like, why are you still doing collabs with brands, or why are you still working and doing X, Y, and Z? But like, just because
Why wouldn't
now
she?
you have like all the means in the world, it's a mentality. Nobody wants to wake up and feel like they have nothing of their own to create. That's what we're meant to do, is create, right? So yeah, does she need to do work for the money? No, she doesn't, but she's never
She
going to
enjoys it.
stop because that's
And
her hustle. Yeah.
I think that's exactly it. When you enjoy what you do, I feel the same way. Like, when is enough? It's not about buying another car or a house for me. I genuinely love to get this. Feeds me. This keeps me young. I would think I would die if I didn't have anything to do in the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
I
know-
think people do die from that. They die from just boredom and lack of purpose.
That is one of the biggest words I hear from women all the time. It can't just be your children. And what you are doing, I think you've got a very, very strong sort of outlook on life, which has come from whatever you've built in business, you're also building in the house, which is like me, you're practical.
Yeah.
Things have changed. So this is how it's going to be now. You're accepting of things.
Yeah. Yeah, because I just know, I've been in place. I didn't work when I was married for a little while, and I, was given everything that I wanted. That doesn't make you happy. At least it doesn't make me happy, especially somebody who like really doesn't care that much about material things. I just know that in order for me to truly feel happy, I have to feel like I'm creating something. And I think most people, when push comes to shove, like they think that designer thing or being taken care of is going to help them feel happier. But then once you get the thing that you think you want, you realize it actually never fills you up in the way that you think it's going to.
So what is the thing you want? What is your end game past the podcast? Like what is it leading to for you ultimately?
Yeah, I think just like being excited and being inspired about something that I'm creating. And having a lot of personal, like positive personal relationships. I'm kind of obsessed with this whole like blue zone longevity, quality of life, all these studies people are doing of like where are the happiest people in the world, where are the people who live the longest. And I think people are just starting to realize that community makes such a big difference and having positive relationships with the people in your life. So that's most important to me. I think that's where I put in most of my effort. Like I'm not putting in 60 hours a week of work, and I don't think I ever will be that person. I'm usually putting in more time to like my relationship with my kids and my partner, and then I'm working on something that inspires me. If it's not inspiring to me, it's going to be shit. So I think just like trying to always cultivate that sense of awe and inspiration and creativity and just be working on things that light you up like that. I think that's the most important thing, at least for me. And then having those positive relationships in your life.
And do you think, because a lot of people, obviously, this is an amazing space. It really was an amazing space to be in. Obviously, podcasting is becoming harder and harder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Would you like tell young people to get into this now? I mean, I'm into two minds because I feel like it's got so hard. You know, we've been in it quite a long time. So
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think there's always room at the top if it's something that you're really good at. I think there's a part that you have to be naturally good at something, and then you have to love it. And I would never steer someone away from it. But like I have a friend who actually is starting a podcast in October, and I just had to shoot her straight and be like, listen, if you're in it because you want to make money, it's probably
forget it.
not going to be great because like you have to do so it has to be something that you're passionate about and you wouldn't care if it made you a dime because the fact is like it is so saturated and like I just love podcasting and I truly like am not doing it for the money because if I was, I'd be broke. So it's just, so I think, yeah, if it's something that you love and you're inspired by, then do it. But I would say don't do it if you think you're going to get rich, because most people are not getting rich off podcasting. A lot of people are, but the majority are not.
Yeah, I think it was easier. It's become much, much harder. So if you're looking for a glamorous life from it, I mean, do you feel is your main hustle now the influencing and branding?
Yeah, I mean, I always have a bunch of little things going on the side, but yeah, I have my hand in a bunch of different things all the time. But for right now, with my podcast, I'm mostly just doing brand deals and things like that. Now that my kids are little, I mean, honestly, it's like work smarter, not harder. That's kind of my mentality right now. And then I always have something brewing in my mind about what I'm going to be doing next. I really love cooking, and so having like a cooking mini series is something that I've always thought about. And I'm like, oh, how do I combine the podcasting with the cooking show? And somebody was like, I think Meghan Markle just did that. And I'm like, oh shit, she did.
It's okay. I think this room. I think this room.
There's definitely
I don't
room,
think it's
especially
gone very well. Call
there's this
Netflix immediately.
person. Oh my
Yeah,
god! Every time I see like a clip from that, I'm just like, this poor girl. She just
I
can't
know.
catch a break.
She
It's
cannot
pretty
catch a break.
insufferable to watch, though.
It is so painful. Honestly, I can't. I can't. And I really wanted to like her. I'm British, but no, no. Um,
It's
but I do think, what I like about, again, and I think, this generation is watching you because it's also that you do have your hand in so many pies. And I think, for young girls growing up today, it's not enough just to follow one path anymore. You
yeah,
need to, back your own pony and have a plan A, B, C, D, E,
right.
F at this
Yeah,
point in this world and have different things going on. It used to be when we were growing up, I think that if you had like two or three different ideas, you were a jack of all trades and master of none.
totally.
West, I think now that's another thing that's changed. Now you're like, well, actually, I've got this, this, and this.
Yeah,
And, it's the only way today.
right. I do think there's something to be said about somebody who's truly an expert in their field. But to be honest, I don't think society rewards that person as much as somebody who is taking risks in a lot of different ways. So I have a master's degree in teaching. I taught for like 5 years, and then
Right.
I went the law route for a little bit, and I was kind of like all over the place. I taught yoga. I've always been a little bit of a scatterbrain, ADHD. Like, I like something, I'm really into it, and then I'm kind of moving on to the next thing. And I look at my friends who are like I have one friend who, she went to medical school, she's a doctor, and she's always been very focused and dedicated to this craft, and she gets like 4 vacation days a year, and she's just like a slave to this hospital. And I'm like, I would never want, like, what kind of a reward is that for working so hard your whole life? I mean, the thing is, she also is not happy with the grind of that.
I mean, thank God for her. I have to say, I look at it every day and I think about the money we all make in the business we're all in. And then I look at firefighters, policemen, and then, and I'm like, oh my God, and you look at soccer players, and it's just not right. It's not right.
It is.
The things that we reward today are just not building a better place for us anymore.
Yeah.
And that is a very frightening place to be.
Oh,
because
yeah. My 7-year-old wants to be a YouTuber, and he's like, why aren't you a YouTuber? I'm like, I don't know. I think I should too. But it's like the goals have totally changed. I like that people are that like society rewards creativity and risk taking and vulnerability. But then I also do feel like it's a little scary that so many influencers are giving medical advice, and like the qualifications are not really there a lot of times, but it teaches us to do we have to do our own vetting and research to really know what's real and what's not.
So how has it worked with a new man coming in now? Okay, you have your children and you live together now as a family?
Pretty much. Yeah, he has his own spot, but yeah, for the most part.
And he was never married, right? Or had children?
No, he was never married.
So how does he gone into this? Like, it's a huge change for a man to go from, 0 to 100 and live with young children, get an ex-husband. Like, how does it work? I hope this isn't rude because I get it all the time myself. So I just, I'm interested the other way around. Like, how does it work financially with you guys? Like, does he have to like step up for the house with you? Like, how are those burdens taken on? Because I think those are the conversations that people don't like having. I get asked all the time.
The practical ones.
Yeah.
It's the ones that actually matter. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I wouldn't have been able to get divorced if it wasn't financially if I wasn't financially able to. And I think a lot of women are not set up that way. Like, they're not making their own money. That's step one. And somebody, I get DMs every day, like, how can I leave my husband when I don't make any money? And I actually asked chat. You can ask AI now, like, for a step-by-step plan of how to start making your own money and leave a partner that might be abusive. But
oh my God, what do they say?
Oh, I forget exactly what. There's like ways to make money online.
Yeah.
That not like OnlyFans, but like virtual virtual assistant, that sort of thing, where like you can make money from your home now.
Oh, that's so clever. Yeah, there's so many ways now.
Yeah, and then so because a lot of women have to stay home with the kids, or like if your kids are really young and they're not able to go to school yet. But yeah, ask AI. AI could help you solve these complex problems. But to answer your question, Zach was exceptionally good at meshing in with my current situation, and I wouldn't be with him if he wasn't, because you have to be a flexible person to step into a dynamic that's already been established with someone else's kids. There's a lot of men who would never date somebody who already has kids. And
or
to
even
be honest,
think about
I don't know that I would have, when I was single, would I have dated a guy who already has kids and then has like, an ex and all that? I don't know if I would have, but thankfully there are people who are open to it, and Zach has stepped in and been just, so open and loving to my kids, and they consider him like, not like a father figure, but almost just like a friend that they really do get a bonus person. And in terms of the finances, like, he's not helping me out with finances because we still live in separate houses, but like, eventually the plan is to move in together. I think we're going to try to do that in February. And at that point, yeah, like, I mean, you just have to have those conversations, like who's going to pay for the mortgage and things like that. But the fact of the matter is, it is when you're in a relationship with somebody, financial burden becomes easier. Now you have two incomes. That'll be nice. I'm not gonna lie. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't excited to not have to pay an entire mortgage or like rent by myself, because it is a lot of money. And it's nice to have a partner and not have to pay for everything. But he doesn't pay for my kids. Like he'll never be paying for my kids' schooling and things like that, because they're not his kids. And I would never ask him to do that. Like maybe if their dad was dead, God forbid, then he would step up in that way. But luckily that's not something I have to worry about. But I know that if that was the case, he would have no problem doing that.
Did he know who you were before? Did he know, like, when you stepped into this, like, how his life would be? Because you're right, like, it's a huge thing. I always wonder how Sergio's still here, to go from being a young single guy to living in a world where, first of all, he gets criticized for everything, but second of all, he's got children that weren't his, and he's living, instead of night clubbing at his age,
Totally.
he's, at home with
Yeah.
me and my feet up.
Yeah, I think there's a certain depth, and like it's just a new culture that they get to be a part of, that I think is actually really nice for them. You have to be the kind of guy who is into that, but I mean, Zach loves the fact that he gets to be kind of like the fun uncle, and like there's not much responsibility, but he gets like to hang out with these awesome kids. And are they complete pains in the asses? Yes, but like he has the luxury of just being able to be like, I think I'm going to sleep at my house tonight, or like, I mean, at least for now he does. Um, yeah, but like I said, like I have 5 days off from my kids and then on from my kids, and this weekend I was totally off from them, and then I went to see them at the beach yesterday, and he was like, you need to like take your days off, because then you burn out because there's been plenty of times where like I don't take my days off, I just take them the whole time, and then after like 2 weeks of just being 100% on, he's like, why are you doing this to yourself? You only have yourself to blame. But like it goes against my maternal instincts to have little kids that are down the street that I'm just not with, especially when they're calling me being like, I miss you, come hang out. So for him, I think he's starting to see, he said to me yesterday, he was like, I'm never going to tell you don't go see your kids, but like, I'm not going to be, I want to go to the beach. I want to go surfing. I want to hang out with my friends. I don't want to spend my days off with more kids. And for me, I don't know. It's a different culture. It's a different culture of life. And he doesn't want to sign up for 100% daddy duty. And that makes complete sense, because
Does he want children?
he does want a kid. But then sometimes he's like, oh, I don't know, maybe I could be fine with just being like a stepdad. But ultimately he does. Ultimately he does want a kid. I think he is a little delusional if he thinks he's going to be able to like still have his weekends where he surfs with his buddies. Because like when you have a kid and they're with you all the time, it's like there really aren't days off. So I think this is good practice for him. And I do think like having a child with somebody who's already had kids is a bonus. I know you probably don't want me to say this, because I know Sergio wants kids and you don't want me to,
Yeah,
you
you
don't want to
ruined
help
my
us,
life
you don't
last
want to
time.
cause.
Yeah.
But like I do know the things that can really mess up a relationship with having a new baby. And so I think I'm at an advantage there. It's tough. No matter what, though, it's a baby puts a strain on your relationship, and it does not bring you closer together. It just tests every part of your partnership, and how well you can work together.
I actually think that's a big lesson out there, ladies listening. There's from the horse's mouth. As a mother, it doesn't mean you don't love your children, but children do not bring you closer together, and that's a fact. You better be very, very, very sure you want one. And and that's it, because going into blended families today, it is just that it's so complicated, because both of you are having to hustle and earn, And, women do bear such a, there aren't so many stay-at-home mums anymore. I mean, I know very few anymore, really.
Yeah, too.
Everyone's gone to work because, you're looking at your counterparts. Who wants to stay at home, with the kids? You want to go and like grow. And we're realizing we're living longer. We're going to have to support ourselves for a lot longer than we were.
Right, totally. Yeah, and I mean, I'm sorry, after so many men have left their wives for younger women, women have smartened up. We're not going to set ourselves up for that situation. I mean, and we all know the divorce rates. The likelihood, like the math isn't mathing for us not to have a plan B.
The math isn't mathing for us not to have a plan B, C, and D. I mean, and also, again, as I said, we're dying later. We're living, you're into your longevity and to sustainability. That's what's happening. We're looking better for longer. We've got options. We've got choices.
Yeah.
And I think that as soon as people understand that, the world has changed. The most important thing is to find your friend, your best friend, and to build a beautiful life together, which is sustainable together by either of you. And when you are both working and hustling, it's not taking you away from each other. It's actually giving you both power to really choose.
Yeah, I love that. It's so true. I'm experiencing a little bit of that now because my new partner is he's really in like the affiliate marketing and like advertising online space. He's a little bit of a techie, and I didn't really I still don't understand much of it, but he's now able to help me with like, rebuilding my website and getting my like affiliate links all hooked up, and it's just cool to be able to work with somebody who can help you be smarter and a better version of yourself. I guess I just never really had that partnership for a long time. People think that like, oh, you just decide to get divorced one day, but I don't feel like I had a partnership for really ever. And so to find somebody where you can really be a partner with like creating things and creating your brand and building a business, it's just nice. It's fun to find out different ways of partnership that you can have with someone.
I love that for you. And I love that I've been telling women that it's underutilized because, again, society has let us believe that a man that wants to help a woman in business or go into partnership with her in any other way is weak and doesn't have any other option. Therefore, he just wants to mulch off us. And actually, if you're working together and building something bigger together, you're actually both going to benefit. Totally. And, some of the biggest businesses I have read about today are husband and wife partnerships.
Oh, yeah.
And, because you're both playing from the same hymn sheet, you both want the same things, and that's what a partnership is. So thank you so much for coming on today. Tell everybody how they can find you and, where to find you.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram, Aurora Culpo. Also, my podcast is called Barely Filtered, and that's everywhere you stream your podcasts. So yeah, I hope to get to talk to you again. And I love watching your journey. It's so fun to watch you and Sergio. You guys are like so glamorous, but also hustling. You have like I've been watching your flips and all of that. So cool.
We're all hustling, and I think that's the point. We're all from different places all over the world, but we're all trying to do the same thing, which is just have a good life, hustle, and maintain what we've got. And I think, that's where we're prime examples of it in different age groups, and I'm very proud of both of us. So thank you, and you are an inspiration and will be and should be for a lot of young girls out there.
Thank you so much.